Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. It's August 9th, 2018. And, and Flat Earth, my head just wasn't into making videos, you know. I hate taking breaks, I really do, but it has to be done to keep your sanity, in a way. Am I right? You know? Anyway, I'm down in the city right now at work, right off of Fort Washington Avenue. And it's right by the river over here. If you notice, I must have, well, you'll hear them go by, but I must have heard like 50 helicopters pass by since I've been sitting here. That's a lot of helicopters. And you know how annoying those things are? I mean, they make so much noise. It's unbelievable. How do people tolerate that nonsense? You know, between helicopters, leaf blowers that are happening 24/7, it's almost like they want to create noise to frustrate us, you know, to keep us, I don't know, aggravated in a way. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. But, you know, I remember a time when you could hear a pin drop in my neighborhood. Now, the minute 8 o'clock, it's blast off time, leaf blower time. So, you make sense out of that. It's just within the last 15 years I've noticed. You know, if you are a flat earther and you're watching this and you've been doing it as long as me, and it's been 3 or 4 years for you right now, and you're still uncovering truths, you know, layers and layers and layers upon lies. And if you're making videos, don't get discouraged about people that are taking your videos and chopping them up and putting them on their channel and trying to make us look like fools. Because there'll be a day, and that day will come soon, where they're going to need us. And they're going to want to talk to us because they're going to be so fucking confused because they still think they live on a ball. When we know we live on a flat plane. We're the smartest people in the world knowing this information. This piece of the puzzle that has been a lie throughout in our entire lives. You know? I spent close to 40 years thinking we lived on a ball. But then a light bulb went off and I became the smartest person in the world, just like you are for being here and watching me and listening to what I have to say. Well, anyway, that's that with the family member. Pray for her. She's all right. She really gave us a scare. You know, I mean, to be that age and to have to go through that with your body. And surgery, I realize a gallbladder surgery is minimal now. It's not a big thing, but, you know, it's just having your body go through this, you know. I mean, it really, it could have been avoided. Just a simple x-ray a year and a half ago or a year ago could have put this all to an end. Okay, anyway, let me get back to Flat Earth here. I really want to talk to you about the space shuttle. And I was on somebody's channel the other day watching this, and he had a lot of interesting things to say, and I'm going to share it with you right now. I believe his channel is UAP, and he's got plenty of subs, so, you know, just look for it. It's called the Space Shuttle Hoax, just in case if I screwed his channel name up. And he discussed how possibly the middle rocket, that's the orange rocket, is actually filled with helium. And these things are like bouncy houses, you know, and that's all it basically is. And which is an amazing thought, because I want you to go back, way back, to the first space shuttle launch that we had, and just take a quick look at it, you know. Uncover the lies, because this thing does not look like a solid rocket booster at all. I mean, it really doesn't. Go back to the Challenger shuttle disaster. Well, fake disaster, of course. And take a look at the way the sun glistens off of this this rocket. There goes another helicopter. I'm telling you, every like 3 minutes one passes by here. When that reflection that you see of the sun right at the tip of that rocket, it just looks, it doesn't look like it's reflecting off of metal. It looks like it's reflecting off of some sort of like plastic layer or something like that. And I think it very well could be, because if you look at these launches, about
T-minus 5 minutes and counting.
I don't know, 5 seconds before they let these things go. You can see the thing is wobbling a little bit, almost like it's losing its balance. How could that be? This thing is solid, you know? I mean, this has got 3 solid rocket boosters supposedly on it. That way God knows what. And then the shuttle. How could this thing just be like hovering around and then it takes off? All right, the 2 rockets on the side, yes, those are actually rockets. I'm talking about the cylinder in the middle, possibly is a bouncy house filled with helium. And it would explain a lot. When these things explode, they explode into a billion pieces. There's no trace of anything. How could that be? There's no metal, there's no nothing. It's just nothing. All they have pieces of are they get pieces of that. Because that probably, you know, that is real. Well, not real. You're going to go into space because there is no space. And then you ditch it. Chemtrails, that's nothing to do with and everything else. You can't see these things. You're not allowed. If you are on a plane, anywhere near these things, and also in the flat earth, I can point to that some other things. Yes, so I haven't mentioned that. It's a beautiful day here. Get that nice. Enjoy yourself. But also another thing with this is when they do ditch these things and they do apparently explode, they don't have any pieces left, they've got nothing there except pieces of shell. And the chemtrails, of course, if you had a plane, you can't be anywhere near these things. Just like a little background on NASA, I want to tell you, this thing, they bought 126,000 acres. They kicked everybody out of that area when they launched this thing. Everybody they just kicked out. Get the fuck out of here. Bye-bye. We just bought your land. Go screw yourself. You're not allowed anywhere near these things when they're about to launch, nor are you allowed anywhere near when it's just being set up and they're doing a preparatory launch on it. No, you're not allowed anywhere near this thing. You know why? Because if you really took a look at this ridiculous, fake it when the rocket's like kind of wobbling around a little bit. You know, like,
hello everybody.
And you'll see the line.
This is my third YouTube debunking video.
I'm still uncovering things. It's unbelievable.
I've chosen to debunk Mr. CC. So let's go to the site. It's called Uncovered. And he's called CC. So let's listen. Okay?
That's why flat earthers can't stop. There's so much shit out there. There's so much fucking
Good afternoon.
that we're dealing with. That we gotta wake people
Wow, August 31st.
Well, it is all about.
Had some family issues. One of my family members was rushed to the hospital.
Okay, well, you don't need to hear that. Sorry about your family. But, yeah, let's carry on.
These doctors? You know, it really pisses me off. These doctors just think they know everything.
Well, that's why they're doctors. They've got PhDs in medicine. So, you know, okay. Carry on.
Anyway, she's alright. She's out of the hospital.
Glad to hear it.
Got out today. She was released this morning, so she did have some complications with fever or something like that.
Okay, well,
it's fine.
I'm glad she's alright.
So no worries over.
Let's get on with you claim the shuttle.
My head just wasn't into making videos, you know.
I can see why, mate.
I hate taking breaks, I really do, but it has to be done to keep your sanity in a way. Am I right?
No, I'm perfectly sane.
They're all created.
I don't think that at all.
They know we live on a flat plane.
You know?
They know we're motion.
Anyway, I'm down in the city right now at work.
Right.
Right off of Fort Washington Avenue. And it's
I don't need your life story, where you live, what's happening to your family. This is supposed to be a video saying that the space shuttle is basically a giant helium balloon. So get on with it, please.
Object on.
right by the river over here. If you notice, I must have, well, you'll hear them go by, but I must have heard like 50 helicopters pass by since I was...
50 helicopters. 50. Are you sure about that? 50. That's a lot of helicopters.
That's a lot of helicopters. And you know how annoying those things
Fucking
are?
lot. That's like a whole squadron full.
It's unbelievable.
Because they're helicopters. Maybe you live near a helicopter pad.
How do people tolerate that nonsense?
Just by ignoring it, turning their stereo on in their car.
You know, between helicopters, lead blowers that are happening 24/7, it's almost like they want to create noise to frustrate us, you know, to keep us...
What? Keep your ears working, you mean?
They're going to relaunch. They
Oh, okay. So far, I mean, 2 minutes in,
which is a jet.
you're obviously somebody who just moans about everything, basically, aren't you? Yeah, that's the first thing I've noticed, so come on. I wonder whether you're debunking of the shuttle.
I don't know, aggravated in a way.
Yeah, I can tell.
You know, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. But, you know, I remember a time when you could hear a pin drop in my neighborhood. Now, the minute 8 o'clock...
Fuck me, where did you live? You know, you could hear a pin drop in your neighbourhood. Sure you weren't, like, living on your own in the middle of nowhere, in a barn?
It's blast off time, lead blower time. So, you make sense out of that. It's just within the last 15 years I've noticed.
What? You notice what?
You know,
Leaf blowers?
if you are a flat earther and you're watching this and...
No, I believe I live on a globe. I know I live on a globe. It's taken 500 years of, like, accumulated knowledge from Newton up to Galileo to sort of prove we live on a globe. Not just theorise we do, prove it. It's been proven beyond doubt. So before we start, it's been proven beyond doubt we live on a globe.
You've been doing it as long as me. And it's been 3 or 4 years for you right now. And you're still uncovering truths. You know, layers and layers and layers upon lies.
No, you're not uncovering truth. What you're doing, you're uncovering crazy conspiracies on YouTube and then deciding that's truth and then spreading it as if it's truth. Even when you're showing it's not true, you still keep spreading it as it's truth. So this is why I've decided to make this video, because I'm sick of it.
And if you're making videos,
Yes.
don't get discouraged about people
Oh, I won't get discouraged, don't worry. Don't you
that
worry.
are taking your videos and chopping them up and putting them on their channel and trying to make us look like fools. Because there'll be a day.
I'm not trying to make you look like a fool. You already sound like a fool from what you're saying. So, carry on.
And that day will come soon.
Right.
When they're going to need us.
For what?
And they're going to want to talk to us because they're going to be so fucking confused because they still think they live on a ball. When we know we live on a flat plane.
If you know you live on a flat plane, provide some evidence. I bet in 4 years you've never actually provided any evidence for anybody or yourself. You've just somehow convinced yourself. So let's see some evidence. You can't just sit there and say, I know it's a flat earth, blah de blah de blah. Right? You can't just say that. So carry on.
We're the smartest people in the world knowing this information.
Why are you the smartest people in the world? Because you believe every fucking conspiracy you listen to. That's crackhead crazy.
Piece of the puzzle that has been a lie throughout in our entire lives. You know? I spent close to 40 years thinking we lived on a ball.
40 years thinking you lived on a ball. So what happened? Did you have a brain aneurysm, or did you get run over and bang your head? What happened?
But then a light bulb went off, and I became the smartest person in the world, just like you are for being here and watching me and listening to what I have to say.
Okay, you're the smartest person in the world, man.
That's happened to be a family member. Pray for her; she's all right. She really gave us a scare. You know,
Like you said,
to be that age,
about your family. I'm not here to discuss your family.
Body. And surgery, I realize a gallbladder surgery is
A very good friend of mine, her dad's gone into
it's just
a care home this week, and I've got to find him one. I shouldn't be making videos about dumb, flat earth stupidity. I should be looking at nursing homes.
Okay, anyway, let me get back to flat earth here.
Good.
I really want to talk to you about the space shuttle.
What about the space shuttle?
And I was on somebody's channel the other day watching this, and he had a lot of interesting things to say, and I'm going to share it with you right now.
Hang on. Interesting things. You mean he's a conspiracy nut about the space shuttle program? Let's get it clear.
I believe his channel's UAP, and he's got plenty of subs, so, you know.
Subs does not mean you tell the truth, or you know the truth, or you're clever, or you know anything about anything. So before we go any further, I've got 0 subs, and I know more than you and all your flat earthers. I know more than you when I was fucking 6.
Look for it. It's called the Space Shuttle Hoax, just in case if I screwed his channel name up.
Space Shuttle Hoax. So now you're going to try and convince everybody the space shuttle is a hoax, yes?
And he discussed how possibly the middle rocket, that's the orange rocket.
That is not a rocket. That is the fuel tank that holds liquid oxygen and liquid kerosene. It is mixed together and fed to the shuttle's engines, which are on the back of the shuttle. If you look closely, there are 3 of them. So it's the orange big thing is the fuel tank for the shuttle engines. Okay?
It's actually filled with helium, and these.
Why would it be filled with helium? Are you saying it's a huge balloon?
Things are like bouncy houses, you know, and that's what.
Hang on. You're trying to tell me that the middle tank of the shuttle, the fuel tank, is filled with helium, and it's like a giant bouncy castle, is what you just said. Correct? Oh, jeez.
Well, it basically is.
Right, and have you got any evidence for this?
Which is an amazing thought, because...
An amazing thought. It's a dumb, stupid thought. I mean...
I want you to go back, way back, to the first space shuttle launch.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the first space... I'm going to go back to the first space shuttle launch, and I'm going to watch it. Because apparently it's filmed on about 60 different cameras. So... I'm pretty sure I can find some pretty good quality footage of the first shuttle launch. So, let's see what you found.
Just take a quick look at it, you know.
Okay.
Uncover the lines, because this thing does not look like a solid rocket booster at all.
Because it's not a solid rocket booster. I've got it on the screen here now. Just show everybody. There you go. Does that look like a solid rocket booster? Nope. The 2 solid rocket boosters are on the side. They're the things that failed when the shuttle blew up in 1986. Remember that?
I mean, it really doesn't. Go back to the Challenger shuttle disaster.
Right.
Well, fake disaster, of course.
And what was the second shuttle that failed and burnt up on re-entry? Did anybody know that? See, put it in the chat.
And take a look at the way the sun glistens off of this this rocket. There goes another helicopter. I'm telling you, every like 3 minutes.
Maybe, perhaps, like I said, you live near a heliport where a lot of people go in helicopters. Maybe you live near an army maybe you live near an Air Force base, or there's an Air Force base you can't see, and it's got a high fit, and maybe where you work. I can't believe you moan about helicopters. I mean, we get jets go past here who are training, so give over.
That's when it passes by.
What are you going to do?
That reflection that you see of the sun,
Yes.
the tip of that rocket.
Yes.
It just looks. It doesn't look like it's reflecting off of metal. It looks like it's reflecting off of some sort of like
Plastic foam, perhaps, that it's coated in.
plastic layer,
It's called foam.
something like that.
It's a special foam.
And I think it very well could be, because if you look at these launches, about 5 seconds before they let these things go,
Yes.
you can see the thing is wobbling.
Jesus. If you start up 3 engines on the shuttle, right, it tends to move the shuttle because it has to be able to move, otherwise it'd snap its bloody wings off, right? So you expect it to move, and they can't let it go until they've lit the solid rocket boosters, and once they're lit you can't turn them off. So they've got to be, once those solid rocket boosters light, that is it, there's no turning back. And when they light, I guarantee you, they create a bit of friction in the shuttle, so it moves, it wobbles. What do you expect?
A little bit.
A little bit.
It's losing its balance. How could that be? This thing is solid. I mean,
Not really. It's a huge tank with a shuttle strapped on it. It is not very.
How could this thing just be like hovering around and then it takes off?
Doesn't.
All right.
It's held in with brackets. If you look at the bottom,
Rockets. I'm talking
No.
about the cylinder in the middle.
that's not a rocket.
Possibly is a bouncy house with helium. And it would explain a lot. When these things
What?
explode, they explode into a big...
Helium doesn't fucking burn. Oh dear. Have you done any research about any? Helium is an inert gas, so it would not explode. The Hindenburg exploded because it was filled with hydrogen gas, not helium. Nowadays they put helium in balloons and they put helium in blimps. Right? They certainly don't fill them with liquid oxygen and kerosene.
There's no trace of anything. How could that be? There's no...
Because it fucking exploded. Do you know like how much fuel that tank holds? Right? When it exploded, you're talking, it was like a mini nuclear bomb.
metal, there's no nothing, it's just nothing.
So all the debris I saw falling out of the sky, and the 2 rockets going off by themselves, that mission control had to explode because they were dangerous, that's nothing. All that debris that fell in the ocean is nothing. Okay.
All they have pieces of are the shuttle. They get pieces of that because that probably, that is real. Well, not real. It's going to go into space because there is no space.
Hang on a minute. Look, I've got relatives who've seen the shuttle launch. Right? My dad watched the shuttle on the top of a Boeing jumbo jet when it was being transported. He got to see it in Paris. Right? So the shuttle's real. Right? Okay.
They curve off into the Bermuda Triangle.
They don't curve off into the Bermuda Triangle. Why would they curve off into the Bermuda Triangle? Now, if space exists, and you want to launch and use the Earth's rotation to help you get up to the speed you need to orbit the Earth, which is 25,000 miles an hour. Oh, what a coincidence. The world's circumference is roughly 25,000 miles. Why is it you need that speed, I wonder? Anyway, that's a question for another video.
And they either ditch them or they blow them up.
No, they do not ditch them and blow them up. You find me somebody who's actually seen one of those rockets take off, curve over, head towards the Bermuda Triangle and crash in the ocean. you find me one person who's actually seen them go into the ocean, or they've been in a boat and seen one go into the ocean, or they've been in a plane perhaps travelling across the UK and they saw a rocket go into the ocean. I'm pretty sure the amount of launches that NASA have done, somebody would have seen one of those rockets go into the ocean.
But presumably, I would suspect blow them up because they're so high up there you can't even see them. With the chemtrails, and that's another thing I want to get into very quickly with you.
Chemtrails, jet engines, you see, in the last 20 years, they've improved considerably. Right? So now they produce basically water vapour and a bit of particulates, yeah? But they're so efficient now that they basically leave a lot of water behind them, so that tends to stay longer in the atmosphere and form clouds depending on the atmosphere. If you actually study chemtrails and go and actually look at them being formed, yes, and the conspiracies are saying they're adding all this stuff to the fuel. Well, I'm sorry, but if you added all that shit to the fuel, the engine would fucking burn up. It wouldn't survive. It would explode. It wouldn't live very long. So somehow they're putting all these metals into the fuel and it's not affecting the engines. So my guess is they're not putting all that metal and horrible stuff in the fuel because the engines would be blowing up all the time. And as far as I know, there hasn't been an increase in engine failures in jet engines in the last 20 years. If anything, they've become more reliable, more efficient, they burn less fuel and produce basically more water vapour and less pollutants. So, chemtrails debunked.
And everything else, you can't see these things. And I'm sure you're not allowed, I can guarantee you that you're not allowed to be, if you are on a plane, anywhere near these things when they're about to ditch them. You know? And also in the flat earth, I did want to bring up some other things.
So hang on, if they take off, right, somebody, you could get in a boat and you could be out at sea in the general direction that those rockets take off from. Okay, they take off over the sea because that's safer. You can't launch a rocket over a suburban whatever the word is, right, area, because if anything happens, well, the rocket can come down on populated areas and kill people. Like when Challenger exploded, it was pretty much over the wilderness, so it launches that way for a reason, and it launches towards that direction for a reason. If you notice, they're near the equator, and if you actually get some photographs of the launch and plot its trajectory, you'll notice it's heading towards the equator or just north of it, and it's taking the spin of the earth and using that momentum to help it launch to orbital speed. So I suggest, CC, before you come on YouTube and make videos, you research what you're going to say. For one, the tank is not a bloody balloon, it's a fuel tank. It's not a rocket. No one ever said it was a rocket. I've never heard that anywhere. All I know is it feeds the 3 engines on the shuttle at launch.
Mention that, you know, they're just walking. I got my windows rolled down. It's a beautiful day here down in NYC. Come on down, enjoy yourself. Talk about flat earth.
It's a beautiful day. Hey, let's all sing.
But also another thing about the space shuttle, is when they do ditch these things, and they do apparently explode. They don't have any pieces left. They've got nothing there.
The main fuel tank, the big orange thing you keep going on about, that burns up in the atmosphere because that has to stay strapped to the shuttle as basically as long as it can till it's either empty or the shuttle engines use that fuel on launch. So once it's used up, it gets ditched, and if you notice, the solid rocket boosters get ejected first, and they are recoverable. They come down on a parachute. A lot of times NASA lose them and they just sink to the bottom of the sea. That's true, but you know, that's not NASA and conspiring to cover up the balloon shuttle. It's one of those things. Sometimes, but NASA very rarely mention those. So give you fair due. Sometimes they lose the solid booster rockets and they sink. They can't find them.
All right, except pieces of the shuttle itself. And the chemtrails, of course, if you had a plane, you can't be anywhere near these things. Just like a little background on that, I want to tell you, this thing, they bought 126,000 acres down there. And they kicked everybody out of that area where they launched this thing. Everybody they just kicked out. Get the fuck out of here. Bye-bye. We just bought your land. Go screw yourself.
No, it's, we bought your land, we gave you a price more than you would have got on the market, because we're launching rockets from over there, look. So if you want to live here, fine. But what'll happen is, if anything happens, you might get killed by burning rocket fuel, or we could have an explosion on the pad. And would you want to live under rockets fucking launching every couple of days? I certainly wouldn't. Jet aeroplanes and helicopters are bad enough.
You're not allowed anywhere near these things when they're about to launch. No,
I'm not surprised you'd get fucking killed, you... Oh dear. Look, think that is logically, right? Why do you think you're not allowed anywhere near those rockets when they launch? Right? Just think about that.
Are you allowed anywhere near it when it's just being set up and they're doing a preparatory launch on it? No, you're not allowed anywhere near this thing. You know.
Would people be allowed round your house if you were strutting round like naked, about to do your wife on the sofa? Yeah? Would you open all your curtains and open the door and go, oh, come on in, just come and watch, while I do this? Or let's say where you work, say your workplace decided when you go back this afternoon, they say, oh, I don't know what your name is, right? And they say, oh, we're going to open all the doors to the factory, anyone can just come in, walk around, do what they fucking like, doesn't matter. You know, what do you think could happen? Jeez. You clearly haven't thought this through, have you?
We took a look at this ridiculous fake thing that NASA puts up there, those snakes.
Proof, evidence, please. You can't just say that they don't put things up there.
You'll see that is probably a helium balloon up there.
It's not a... Look, they actually film that tank, right, from the shuttle, right, when it gets released, when it's near orbit. And I'm telling you, you can watch it float away from the shuttle and you see it burn up in the atmosphere, right? So it's not a helium balloon.
And the space shuttle doesn't have any seats in it. It's just a...
What? It doesn't have any seat? Where did the astronauts sit then? On bean bags.
Completely hollowed out with nothing in it.
Deck chairs. Are you taking the piss? There's nothing in the shuttle. I've got a cousin who's been in the shuttle and a visit to like the NASA thing. They have a... See, that's rubbish. The public can actually go and visit NASA and walk on tour guided tours basically. So you're wrong, right? You ever been to NASA and said, do you do tour guided tours? Because I'd like to, and they'll scrap the shuttle. You can actually go and see one and go and like look round it and get inside it. And so wrong.
Why would there be? Oh yeah, that's right, because of the astronauts actually go into the shuttle and they wave to us. No, they don't. They go in there and then they sneak out like little snakes that they are. Then they get back off.
Okay, have you got some evidence of that? Have you got footage of them doing that, or some proof of that? I'd like to see it before I accept that. Every shuttle launch I've watched, they're in the shuttle and they don't wave at us because they're so high up they wouldn't see them anyway. They're waving basically because there's a camera watching them.
man, it's just so bad. Check out his channel. He'll tell you all about the shuttle. I'm going to agree with him on it because it sounds really true. Everything that
Hang on, it just sounds true. You've not bothered to check anything he said. You've watched the video where he says the shuttle, big orange thing, it's an alien-filled balloon, and all rockets and shuttles all launch towards the Bermuda Triangle and either blow up or go into the ocean. So it sounds good.
Just study these. Study it when the rocket's like kind of wobbling around a little bit. You know what I'm talking about?
Have you ever seen Saturn V launch? They wobble. Every rocket I've seen launch, even the Russian ones, wobble a bit. Because they're taking them off the... If they didn't do that, it'd rip up the freaking launch pad with it. It has big, massive, hydraulic hooks that hold the shuttle still. Like I said, they light the main engines on the shuttle, and then they get ready to light the rocket boosters, because once they're lit, if the shuttle is not let go of, it'll just rip everything out of the ground. So that is why they do that. Okay, go and watch a shuttle launch again,
and you'll see the lies, and you'll uncover after like 3.
I've seen no lies. What do you mean you'll see the lies? What lies am I supposed to be seeing here? I'm watching a shuttle launch right now, and they all look legit to me. And you do know they're filmed with over 60 different cameras, and if you go to the proper site, you can actually look at any of those 60 odd cameras and watch a launch from 60 different cameras.
Years, I'm still uncovering things. It's unbelievable.
You're not uncovering things. What you've said in this video, you've watched somebody else's video about the shuttle who says he thinks it's a hoax and that's a balloon, and you said it just sounds good and you're going to believe him because it sounds cool.
I mean, all of these years now, I'm still uncovering things, and it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. About Hollywood, about the sports, about the government, about the billionaires, about all the companies that are out there. That's why Flat Earthers can't stop, because there's so much shit out there. There's so much fucking material that we're dealing with here.
No, it's not. Do you honestly think if the world was working like you suggest, right? Like you owe your job to a billionaire probably, or someone who's pretty rich, right? Because without billionaires, there ain't no fucking work. There ain't no money for other people, right? If millionaires didn't build factories and try and get richer, you wouldn't have a job, right? And then you got the government, right? If we didn't have a government, we'd all be fighting over food and the resources, and there'd be no police, fire, ambulance, 911 service in America, 999 in the UK. There'd be no hospitals. There'd be no fucking. Oh no, your country doesn't build hospitals. Not really. Okay, well, we get hospitals built by the National Health Service. You've got roads, airports, and so what is the government doing to you personally that's so bad that you think it's got to go, basically, from what you're saying? You've just mentioned so many things that most people, that's part of everyday life, and if it weren't there, life would be a lot fucking worse. Believe me. I can't believe these people. I mean, if you went back just 100 years, right, and you got, I don't know, let's say you got a tooth going bad, right? 100 years ago, if you didn't get that tooth pulled, right, you could die from it. Or you might fall over and cut your hand open and get septicemia and you can have to have your arm cut off. Or what other things could happen to you back then? Or you might drink dodgy water and the next day you're fucking dead from having diarrhea all night. So yeah, the time and age that you live in, you've got a nice car by the look of it, you're able to make a video on YouTube and feed it to the internet, and I suppose because you're a flat earther, you believe science is all lies as well and conspiracy. I mean, the things you've just mentioned, basically everything in your life you claim is evil, a conspiracy, and is against you.
We've got to wake people up.
Yeah, we got to wake people up about people like you and your ideas. I mean, you might be the greatest guy in the world, but so far everything you've said is retarded, dumb shit. Literally. Made me raise my voice. Made me change my tone. You know? Conversation's getting boring anyway. Once you got it.
You know, it's not only flat, well, it is all about flat Earth, but it's not only waking people...
No, it's not all about flat Earth, no. This is all, no. It's not all about the flat Earth.
Up to the fact like that. Take some other subject and wake them up about that subject, and then get into flat Earth. That's the best way to do it.
No. That's telling people just to find a conspiracy, get into it, believe it, don't check it, don't do anything to check whether the things that are being said are actually factual or whether they're just conspiracy theories with no real evidence. No? Just go find a video, find something else, get into that conspiracy. I suppose you're going to say Sandy Hook or I don't know, the shuttle being a hoax and they're still alive, which is one of the worst ones ever. The moon landings, chemtrails, the Illuminati, governments, education's obviously been subdued and fucked up, but it is in your country. Clearly you've got an education problem in the US, because someone can sit there who's got a job, who's got a nice car, clearly you look healthy, admittedly your mum's been ill, but what has happened? Oh, she's conveniently been looked after by medical professionals, and you can sit there and say your country and everything in the world is against everybody. If the world was actually like you people say it is, we wouldn't be able to go outside, we wouldn't be able to fly anywhere, we wouldn't be able to go on holiday, we'd be shit scared going to the shops, we wouldn't have a bank account, we wouldn't have the internet, we wouldn't have computers, because everyone would be so paranoid that no. Yes, there are conspiracies in the world, but when you take it this far, everything so far, 10 minutes, you've not said anything yet that's got any evidence for it. And basically everything you said I can debunk in 30 seconds just by going watching a shuttle launch from a couple of different camera angles. Yeah, I can debunk it. So my daughter could have debunked this when she was like 8 years old.
You really have to do it like that. Wait, just find out what they're at.
Why do you have to learn about a bunch of other conspiracies before you can take on the flat Earth? Sounds like indoctrination to me. Oh, you need to be indoctrinated in conspiracy. Then you might believe the flat Earth conspiracy.
Sports, everybody loves sports.
Sports. Okay, what's the conspiracy in sports?
I felt like
Don't tell me the footballs ain't real, they never play a game. I don't know, ice hockey's not played on ice. That's fake. I don't know.
Only white Caucasian who hated sports. Apparently I'm not. Alright? I think sports is the biggest bullshit racket out there. None of it's fucking true. It's all set. They all know who the winners are going to be way before they start the game.
Well, that wasn't true when I used to play football. It wasn't true when I did boxing either, and it wasn't true when I did karate, and it wasn't true when I did swimming, and it certainly isn't true for chess.
These people get paid $150 million, don't you see?
Because they run them down a fucking field, man, and entertain a great big stadium of people. You might not like sport. I don't like sport. I hated sport when I was at school. I used to walk around the fucking cross-country run. Anything I was good at was swimming and bowling and being a goalkeeper. Right? So, they get paid that money because people, they're good at the game. Now, even if they were fixed, right, they're still good at playing whatever sport they are playing, and people pay admission to the stadium to watch them play that sport. That is why they are paid a lot of money. Okay?
See the fakeness? You gotta see some of these houses that they have. It's sickening. It really does sicken me. You know, it's a short career, so they better save their money.
Sounds to me, you're just jealous. So some guy's richer than you, he's got a bigger house than you, and he's a billionaire, and he probably owns the factory you work in, or he probably had the car built you're sitting in, or he probably owns the factory you've had your clothes from. So I'm sorry, but without people who are rich, there wouldn't be a middle class or a working class. We'd all be peasants.
Who cares? Who cares about that?
I care, because I don't want to be a peasant. What do you want? Do you want us to go back to the fucking Stone Age? Or do you want us to go back to medieval times when you got the plague and things like that, and there's no roads, and it's like Monty Python's fucking Holy Grail? Is that what you want? Would you be happy then?
They don't care about you, nor do the actors care about you, nor do the politicians.
Well, actors don't care about you. Why would an actor care about me? As long as I go and watch his film, he don't care about me, does he? Why should he? I don't care about him either. And why should the government actually care about the people it supplies with resources? I mean, without governments, you can't have cities, you can't have towns. Basically, you can't have more than 300 people together in one place unless you get some form of leadership and some form of social structure. Otherwise, it turns into chaos, and you get people just killing each other till there's only the strongest left, and then they go on to just dominate and people around them. So that's why that happens. Human beings are social animals, and they need that social structure in their lives. So this is why when you get to, let's say before the Egyptians, before the Syrians, before any civilization built cities, man only lived in little villages, and even then he had a chieftain and a family who probably led the tribe or the group to get food, resources, maybe somebody some people are cleverer and more intelligent than others, and they tend to get by in life, and they become leaders of other people. So that's what happens. It's not a giant conspiracy, it's just how man has come to be. Simples.
Doesn't care about you, nor does the government care about you. You gotta care about yourself.
The government doesn't care about me. When I'm out of work, the government pays me money for food and to put a roof over my head. What do they do for you in your country?
And that's it, bottom line.
No, it's not the bottom line. So I've just told you, if I lose my job in my country, my government will supply me with food and money for food and money to keep a car and mortgage relief. And if I get ill, my government have provided hospitals, doctors, nurses, you name it, they've provided. I got cancer 4 years ago, and had to have a very long operation. I didn't pay a penny for it, and I wasn't expected to pay a penny for it. I was fed well, I was looked after, and I'm still here. So if the world's so bad according to you, you wouldn't believe things like that, would you? You said the government is against me. Well, sorry, I've got proof of otherwise.
Can't rely on all those other lies that are out there, because that's what they are. There are lies.
What are all lies? Give me an example of something that is a lie.
They're all created. They know we live on a flat plane. They know we're motionless. They know we live in a firmament, underneath the firmament.
Oh, jeez. Why are they hiding it? If they know that, right, Okay, and you say they know it. They know it's flat, there's a firmament, blah, 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 right? How long do you think they'd be able to keep that actually a secret? Right? People make their own, people have made their own hot air balloons. People have tried their own hot balloon record attempts at altitude, right? You get jet pilots who are in the Navy, who are in the armed forces, right? Don't you think, as long as we've had planes, as long as we've had balloons, things like that, we've not once hit this firmament, seen it, we've not seen anything reflected off it. Apparently the stars can shine through it, no problem. The moon, you say the moon and the sun is inside the firmament. Can't remember how that works. How does that work? How does the sun and the moon actually stay up there? Okay, fine. So you believe in that? Fine.
I'm going to get into the stars with you later on.
Don't get into the stars with me. Because I used to have a telescope. I built my own 12-inch telescope, ground my own freaking mirrors, used a bugged up fucking old microscope to make a rack and pinion eyepiece for it, and I've seen the rings of Saturn with that, a 12-inch reflector. So don't tell me the fucking planets are flat, because I've seen Jupiter rotating, right, through my telescope. So don't talk about the stars, because clearly you don't know jack shit about anything. You're not the cleverest person in the world. If anything, you've said the dumbest things in the world so far.
I have a philosophy about them, and possibly what the firmament could be made out of.
Could be
Because I think it's probably made out of the most rarest object on this flat plane.
Do you mean?
Okay, and that's why I think the stars have that.
Glass?
Well, not stars, but whatever. When you look at them, they glitter.
That's the atmosphere you've done.
Now, the watering effect could be our atmosphere. I'm going to agree with you on that because the atmosphere is...
It is the atmosphere. That's what adaptive optics does in the latest telescopes. That's why the latest Earth-based telescopes can get pictures just as good as Hubble Space Telescope, because they've now figured out how to cancel the atmosphere out, basically.
We think that's why we can't see across the ocean to another continent.
We can't see because it's a round ball. Once you get so far over it, you disappear below the horizon. So things like, I should be able to see Ireland from Barmouth in Wales, but I can't. I can't see America from Ireland either. Now, surely, if you can see the sun and the moon, which are supposed to be, what, I don't know, a couple of 100 miles away or something, aren't they? You said the sun is 3,000 miles away. Let's say the moon is as well, right? Well, short of New York is only 3,000 miles from Scotland, so why can't we see that? Answer me that. Why can't we see that distance across the Earth when we can see the moon? And the moon is not that bright and big according to you. Like, according to you, it's its own light and it's flat. So, but it's got to be about 3,000 miles away, like the sun. So, explain to me, please, how we can still see the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets, satellites, things like that, comets. Explain how we can see things like that, right? But we can't see more than roughly, I don't know, not when you're just 6 foot above the level of the water anyway. You cannot see more than about 300 miles, and then everything's dropped below the horizon. Yeah. So,
Alright, anyway, more on that later. I just wanted to get something out there.
What do you mean more on that later? You've not provided some bit of evidence. You've not just told me where to go to get evidence.
A few days, because it's been nerve-wracking, it really has. But
I'm under the same problems, mate, but, to come on YouTube and just basically say everything's a conspiracy, everything's lies, shuttles aren't real, they're made of helium or whatever, mean, next to be saying they're fucking made of cardboard or something, and they're like, they don't even. And you said they got no seats in the shuttle, and actually there's like 6 seats in the shuttle, and probably some like bench seats near the back of the shuttle. So that's not true. And so far, I mean, it's only a 13-minute video, but I've had to stop it every minute. Yeah, this is Arnold's Pizza Shop. I'm not in right now. I'm out killing pepperoni.
Everything seems to be good.
Not according to you. You just say everything's bad. Everything's a conspiracy. We're all being lied to about everything.
Oh, the chemtrails. I forgot about this. Okay.
Before we mention chemtrails, right? If you watch my video, okay, go and look at jet engines and how they've changed in the last 25, 30 years. Okay? Go and look at the advancement of jet engines, and that explains why contrails are lingering around longer and staying in the air longer and actually turning into cloud, because they're producing a hell of a lot more water than actual smoke and dust burnt fuel. And they're so efficient. I mean, you can fly non-stop to Hong Kong on a, I think it's an Airbus 380. You could never do that 20 years ago. You had to take 3 flights, or 2. I've been to the Philippines and it took 3 flights to get there. Right? So, but now you can literally fly straight from London Heathrow to Hong Kong, and then get on a local flight and just jump over to the Philippines. You couldn't do that 20 years ago, and it's all because the engines are a lot better, more efficient, burn less fuel, produce less pollutants, but produce more water vapour. That's what happens with cars. Cars now, they drip water out the exhaust, and that's, but no one's complaining about all the billowing steam behind cars nowadays, are they? Because it's just water vapour.
The chemtrails, alright? This is another explanation for the chemtrails. When they ditched the shuttle in the Bermuda Triangle or wherever it may be,
we got no evidence of that, so...
They're going to relaunch. They actually have a space shuttle somewhere else. Maybe 51 or something like that. I have no idea. Which is a jet, basically. I mean, it takes off. It doesn't need to go piggyback on some plane somewhere.
Think about this logically, right? Rather than fake a shuttle, right, and spend all that money and risk and all that to try and fake it, right? Wouldn't they just tell us they've launched it, but not publicise it? Yeah, they would just, you wouldn't be allowed within 500 miles of where they launched them, right? Surely it'd be easier for them to just not bother to let anybody see the launches at all from the public. Yeah, all they'd get is their footage on the news. That'd be it. No one would be allowed to go and watch it from 10 miles away. No one would be allowed to go and watch it from 50 miles away. They could just cordon off the whole place and say, look, no one's allowed to watch rocket launches because they're too dangerous. That's why we bought all this land and cleared all the people out. They're just too dangerous, so you can't watch one. And just don't, you wouldn't. What would you do? You wouldn't better complain. Right? That would make more sense than it's a giant fucking helium balloon, and somehow those 2 rocket boosters just get it up to like 30 miles high, or whatever they do, and then just, I don't know, what do they do? I don't get it. I don't understand why you'd have 2 solid rocket filled boosters if that shuttle tank was filled with helium. It wouldn't need them because it wouldn't weigh as much. That's how much fuel it takes to get the shuttle up there. Yeah. Plus, it needs the boost from the solid rocket boosters to give it an extra kick. Yeah. Till it gets to a bit thinner atmosphere and less gravity, and it can ditch them. So I say, and when they're lit, There's no going back. I've seen there's been about 3 launches of the shuttle that have been cancelled at the last second. I've seen one the other day. I will bring it up for you now. There you go. Right. Watch this. Okay. The engines shut down. Literally just before they light the solid rocket boosters. So, you know, rather than fake it all, and it's a helium balloon that somehow goes up and floats around, and then the shuttle ditches into this. They'd be destroying a shuttle every time they did that. You do realise, right? And I don't think they can make shuttles that fast, right? So it doesn't make any sense. They would just if they were faking it, right? No one would be allowed to watch or launch. They'd just put a 300-mile cordon around the whole area and say that no one's allowed to film them. Yeah, the Russians managed it. You know, people of the public there didn't get to see their rockets being launched. So, you know, it's not they can just launch at night, and anyone who sees the rocket exhaust, they can claim it's some UFO. They can say anything, can't they? Maybe that's what some of the UFOs have been in the past. Secret rocket launches that the government, well, not the government, the Army or Navy or Air Force or whatever, what do they call it? The industrial whatever, right? They might be behind a lot of the UFOs.
It's a regular plane, guys. I got bad news for you. So they get the one that they're actually going to show land. All right, and that's when I think they start doing the chemtrails. They fly this fucking thing up in the sky. There's chemtrails all over the place. There are clouds all over the place. You can't see shit anyway, you know. And then they fly it right down and show it off to everybody. Yeah, we just went to the moon. We all did this.
But the shuttle, since when has the shuttle been to the moon? It's never been out of low Earth orbit, and it hasn't got its own jet engines. When it comes back, there's no fuel for the rocket engines on it, and what you can hear are the turbines inside the shuttle that generate the power for the computers and the guidance system. It actually glides back, all the way back, and every plane is capable of gliding if it loses its engines. Every plane can be glided back to a safe landing if there's enough, you know, land and air to get there.
Right,
every
anyway.
Plane.
I'll get more into this later on, but
please don't. Just please.
But I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my videos.
I'm not subbing you yet.
Let me be a part of your life.
I'd let you, but not your dumb ideas. Right, okay, listen. After listening to that, well, let's just... Okay, people, please subscribe, thumbs up if you like the video. Sorry about my voice being so deep, but, you know, what can you do? Okay, that's the Dunce fake space shuttle debunked. Not that he actually provided any real meaty evidence to grab hold of. That was easy to